book of Genesis. Right below the map. One creation, start of mankind's general history. Genesis chapter 1 through 11. Two.
This is Mesopotamia, right? Yeah, so 우리가 에덴 이 모든 인류의 인간 역사가 이렇게 시작이 됐어요.
So that's the beginning of mankind history. It starts with Mesopotamian civilization.
We start with school, right? And then 여기가 number 12가 뭐예요? 아브라함 하나님 부르셨잖아요. number 12.
God called Abraham from Ur to Haran.
하란에서 30년 30일 살다가 어디 갔느냐?
He lived in Haran for 30 years and he moved to Canaan. He moved to Canaan.
And then 거기 가서 결혼을 메아리 해갖고 아브라함이 누가 이삭을 낳고
So Abraham married Sarah and he begot Isaac and Jacob.
여기서 뭐를 만들었어? 국민 만들었다 했을까?
So God created his people, nation of his people there.
이게 뭐야? 창세기 50장.
So Genesis 50, chapter 50, reveals that.
And then 그 다음에 이제 제네시스 끝난 거야.
So that's the end of Genesis. Right now? So we are reviewing the Old Testament 39 books right now. So we cover Genesis now.
And then now, 뭐야?
Exodus.
Exodus, right? And then,
So that's book, page 27.
아브라함이 그 일곱 개 나왔다. 그 일곱 개요.
So let's read Exodus. Here, number 3, 4, and 5.
엑소스는 모세, right? Moses story, right?
Story of Moses.
Yeah. And then they go to Sinai.
Mount Sinai.
Right. Sinai, right? And then 거기 가서 어떻게 되느냐? 이집트에서 이렇게 모세가 어떻게 됐어? Number 1. 모세는 3 times covered, 4 times, 3 times. You gotta memorize the Moses number 1 chapter 4 you finish it. 40장까지 있어.
Exodus has 40 chapters.
40 chapter인데 거기서 세 가지가 제일 중요한 포인트.
So there are 3 points, very important
And
points.
then Exodus finish.
And Exodus finishes the story.
And 그세 가지인데 세 가지를 경렬을 치잖아요. 경렬.
What is
경렬. 이게 8자리야. 지나가는 8자리. 그게 어디냐면 시나이 바다. 근데 이 세 가지 포인트가 이제 이거 앞으로 공부할 때 얘기하고. 오케이. 넘버 1 어디서 뭐다? 모세가 도망 나왔다. 넘버 1.
Okay, Moses.
도망나서 어디 갔어? 시나이 바다. 오케이. 모세가 도망 나왔다. 어디서?
Moses ran away from Egypt because he, you know why he ran away
Yeah,
from
you know
Egypt.
why, right? And then 시나이에서 누구 만났어?
And then he met God in Mount Sinai.
출애굽기 3장 14절.
Chapter 3, chapter 3, 14.
Very important actually.
So in Exodus, the very important point is Moses met God in Mount Sinai. That's very
Chapter
important.
3 and 14.
Chapter 3 and 14.
This is number 1. Number 2.
Number 2.
거기서 하나님께서 모세를 보고 데리고 어디로 가라고 애굽 가라.
So
From the Sinai mountain.
God told Moses to take out his people from Egypt.
This is number 2.
That's number 2
And
important.
then number 3.
Number 3.
데리고 나와.
So he brings out
Yeah.
his people
Right.
from Egypt.
Yeah. Okay.
So those 3 things are very important. Also, those are 3.
This is Exodus.
So those are the 3 points in Exodus, book of Exodus.
거기서 알아요? 여기서 뭐를 만들었어?
Number one, he made covenant,
Number two,
law,
number three.
tabernacle,
Okay. 그 다음에 뭐가 태어났어?
Leviticus.
Right. That's why Leviticus.
Book of Leviticus is born from covenant, law, and
그
tabernacle.
얘기를 어떻게 읽어야 돼? 여기.
Ah, so you have to read the Leviticus from the book of Exodus. They would, yeah, relate together. But
Okay, Exodus finish now.
finish the
Let's
Exodus.
finish, right?
Yeah.
Just three things.
So we finish the Exodus.
1, 2, 3. Done.
Okay.
One from the ego, Sinaiban. Sinaiban from the ego. And the number two, right? Number three. 1, 2, 3. Finish. Orchard. Easy, right? That's why Sinaiban the meaning is very
Mount
important.
Sinai.
Why? Jesus made like the Moshe Sinaiban. So over there,
He
coming there,
met Moses in Mount Sinai.
everything ready. 그래서
The Leviticus was born from the Mount Sinai.
Okay, now
Numbers.
민수기 number. So 여기도 민수기도 보세요. 민수기는 뭐야 민수기? 민수기는 넘버니까 뭐야 조사는 인구.
조사. Oh, so when you think about numbers, it's about census.
Yeah.
You count your
어디서 했어요? 여기?
Where?
Yeah. 시나이반.
Mount Sinai.
Yeah. Okay. 그게 number one point.
So that's the number one point.
Yeah. And then number two is what? Kadesh Barnea. Barangya. Kadesh
Kadesh, Barnea. That's number two.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Yeah. What did he do?
In Kadesh, Barnea.
먹다 죽었어.
Okay. So people died in Kadesh.
이런 썩다 먹다 죽는 인생. This first generation. 바람강이야.
So the first generation was going through the 4 years of the desert, and they were eating and they, first generation died before they went to
거기는
Canaan.
바람강이야.
So that's the Kadesh Barnea.
Why? Okay.
Why?
Why is it good? So number three. Okay. So number 여기서 인구 조사 해가지고 무빙하는 거야. 몇 명이 국민 만들었으니까 뭐 만들어 가야 돼? 법 만들었잖아. 국민법 다 만들었지.
So God made His people. He made laws with the Leviticus, and what is third thing? He needs to rule the kingdom. What are three criteria? He has people. He has law. Now, what does he need? He needs land.
Land, right?
Yeah, land for the people to
That's
live.
why he gonna move it.
So he has to move.
오케이. 그래갖고 창세기 12장에 아브라함이 가나안 땅에 들어가는 거 그거를 이제 번역을 했잖아. 창세기 12에서.
So in Genesis chapter 12, God promised Moses the promised land.
그거만 얘기했어요. Jesus is everything is right. 꼭 예언을 하고 나서 예언을 하고 나서 일을 하신다.
So God always reveals first. His prophecy goes first before He completes that promise. He always let you know, let His people know.
그래서 예언을 했다고.
That's why there's prophetics. Check the book of 17 books of prophets.
한 사람 한 사람 다 해주는데 그거를 언더스탠드 못하는 거야. 커뮤니케이션이 안 돼서 늦었어.
So he personally, between you and me, he always prophesies to me personally. But because we don't have the clear channel open between God and me, we don't understand.
Right. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Really. Okay. So we need to wake up. Then we gotta know in the future. Understand? Okay. So number two, this is like 30 years, right? 38 years over there. First generation, every
first generation died from the Kadesh Barnea. Uh-huh.
And then number three, why? 이제 그게 그 스토리. 그리고 여기가 모세가 그래서 모세가 여기서 number 3에서 누구를 데리고는 second generation.
So Moses is taking second
여기
generation.
피플이 몇 명이었냐면은 장정만 60만이야.
The men were 600,000
All together 200 people.
with their family. It was 250,000 or million.
60만 명이고 250만.
2,500,000 with the
second generation.
with the young second generation.
근데 미스기 때는 옛날에 우리가 그 출애굽에서 나올 때는 그냥 왕수라나 왔을 때만 죽으나 가고 왔어요. 노치스 없이.
So when they were crossing the Red Sea, there was no law.
그런데 미스기 때는 그렇게 안 하셨다.
In numbers, he had to do something because there were great many.
그래서 개수했다. 그래서 넘버가 있는 거야.
That's why he had to do the census, count each people. He had 12 tribes to do the job. He chose one from each 12 tribes and sent out to the land of Canaan. Before people went to Canaan, he sent those 12 people to seek and see who they are.
Right. And then 138 count, right? 38 died, one. And then 40, 40년 동안 정탐을 했는데
40.
40 하고 왔는데 10명은 우리는 메뚜기야. 쟤네들은 너무 커갖고 우리는 죽을 거야. 먹이야 우리는. 우리는 메뚜기다. 그렇게 얘기했어요. 부정적으로.
So when God sent those 12 people, 10 of the men said the Canaanites were too tall and strong, and it's very challenging. We cannot overcome them. But only 2 said otherwise. Caleb and Joshua.
That's why 38, okay, Jesus is very, very bad. Moses, okay, everybody kick. But Moses said what? No, Jesus. Right?
Spare them.
Right.
So Moses had an intercessory prayer to God to save them.
Right. That's why he changed mind.
So God changed his mind.
So we need to
So our intercessory prayer is very important. Just like God listened to Moses' intercessory prayer.
그래서 어디에서 두 사람 실제 여기서 나였고 38년 여기 이렇게 내려오는데 2년 그래가지고 머리 US를 해서 머리 잡혔다가 돌아갔어요.
So the first generation died within 30 years time of the living in the Kadesh Barnea, and 2 years they were taking the second generation to actually conquer and go into the land of Canaan, the promised land. So he waited 38 years for the first generation to die out.
그런데 이 사람들이 여기서 그렇게 살 수 있었던 이유는 여기가 굉장히 물이 많이 나오는 물이 나오는 사람이 됐어요. 야데스 바냐바랑
Even though they were able to live out 30 years in the Kadesh Barnea was because they were full of water supply.
That's why. Jesus knows. That's why. Kiss her. What kind of okay?
Which country is Canaan? Canaan.
Canaan.
말은 돼.
이스라엘.
이스라엘.
Okay, number 3. Okay, number 3. Okay, did you see? Okay, you know the Kingsway, right? Kingsway means you know that Kingsway, Silk Road. Kingsway can go. What? Okay, Edom, Edom, Moab. Moab is who's Moab,
모압 땅.
Moab, Ammon. You gotta remember it. Edom, Moab, Ammon. So you gotta remember, right? And then what is that? Amori.
아모리트.
Right. Moses over what? Moses over there. Amori was 전쟁이.
So Moses had a war with Amorites.
그래서 모세가 이겼어.
He won the war.
그래갖고 요 땅을 누굴 줬느냐? 12지파 중에 문하세 주고 그다음에
So the land was given to Manasseh.
그다음에 이제 그 나중에
Dan and
그래서 여기서 뭐가 태어났어요? 그다음에 사상이 아니야. 저기 여기서 신명기. 신명기가 여기서 모세가 쓴 거야.
so the Deuteronomy was written from the land of Amorites. Where? Eden 동쪽? Eden 동편? The east side of Eden? The Deuteronomy was written? The east side of Eden, the Deuteronomy was written. Moses didn't go into Canaan. Everybody know that because he was the first generation. Remember? Joshua did. Because when he was told to strike the rock for water, he struck very angrily. So God told him, you won't be able to make it to Canaan. So that's one. So the Deuteronomy is written for the second generation. So the second generation didn't know about their prior history, the ancestors' history. So the Deuteronomy was written for the second generation. So let's move on to Joshua, which is page 28. So Joshua went into the land of Canaan. So Joshua divided the land into 12 the divisions and gave it to each of the 12 tribes. So those are the, go back please. Somebody want to take picture? Those are the 12 tribes.
Okay, now, oh my God. Okay, done. Okay, 34. 그다음에 뭐야? 사사기.
Judges.
사사기는 뭐냐? 이렇게 이제 들어갔어요. 넘버 열서에 있고 사사기는 지금 이걸 다 했어요. 데피니티 넘버 열서에 여기까지 요 칼라는 이제 끝난 거는 그레이 컬러가 끝납니다.
So we finished the gray color books.
Yeah, that's why I come to rookie, right? Rookie coming. 루키가 뭐예요? 자수하는 12지파 속에서 이제 자수가 죽고 나서 저기 첫 세계 간 거예요.
So after Joshua passed away,
And then
the judges began.
그 다음에 이제 누가 나와? 킹 데뷔가 나오려니까 누가 나왔어요? 루키가 나온 거예요.
The book of Ruth starts,
And then the Samuel,
and Samuel,
Samuel 1,
and 2,
number 2 is Samuel, number 2 is like king 데뷔 얘기고요.
is about King David.
여기서 시편이 나왔고.
The song came from the King David. Page 29 is a King 1 and 2. Kings 1 and 2. Okay. Yes, page 29. So it's about King Solomon, David. Oh. The first King Saul was not recognized by God. Why? Because he disobeyed.
Okay, so number 3, the Solomon. The Solomon made like okay. 여기서 뭐가 important. That's very important. That's the picture.
The 12 books are very important. The prophetic.
Yeah, prophetic. The 우리가 king 1, king 2에서 12을 reading 해요. 여기 있는 사람들만해. 17에서 12.
So read the 12 books of prophetic books, please.
그러다가 okay, everybody, and then 스토리 어떻게 되느냐 이제 앞서 이스라엘이 두 개가 돼요. 두 개가.
So Israel has divided into two.
So one stage is 우리가 에레미야, 다니엘 있고 one stage에 에스겔이 또 하나 있고 그 다음에 바벨론, after 포르테 이제 망하는 시대를 얘기하는 거예요.
So he's talking about the.
예언서는 한마디로 뭐냐 다들 입을 여기 푸는
Okay.
Put your items in your mouth, please. 예언서.
Okay. The prophetic books, 17 books.
망한다.
You're going to be destroyed. Destroyed.
But 심판하시나 구원하시나.
God judges, but He saves.
But Old Testament is 망한다.
So,
This is the same.
so what she's saying is the prophetic book of Paul is about Israel being destroyed, but He will save.
Why?
Why?
This is a New Testament.
Because we are going into New
But
Testament.
now Israel people 망한다.
So,
But they believe Jesus Christ. They come back. See, right. This is the Old Testament. Easy.
so at the end of the Old
Why
Testament,
망한다? This time now. Why 망한다?
why
Okay.
why
So,
did
number one,
Israel divided into two? And
number
they are
one,
being destroyed.
yes, guys. Okay. So, SK Daniel, 이제 number 2 바벨론 망했잖아요, 그죠? number 2, 그다음에 SK 아까 얘기하셨네. 그 솔로몬 시대에 두 로보암하고 달라지는 얘기가 안 했는데 그 나중에 안 했는데 그래서 너무 시간이 없어요. 그래갖고 다니엘 SK에서 문제가 두 개였어요. 그다음에는 이스라엘이 달라져 망했어요.
So the
722.
so God divided Israel into two: North Israel, South Israel. Rehoboam and Jeroboam. 형제겠죠. So between the Rehoboam and Jeroboam, are they related? What do you think? The name, yeah, sounds brothers. No? Rehoboam, Jeroboam. Okay, so she's saying. So she's saying, if you think Rehoboam and Jeroboam is related to each other, you don't know about Bible at all.
로보암은 소로몬의 아들 누구야? 소로몬의 아들.
So Rehoboam is Solomon's son.
소로몬의 아들이 누구야?
솔로몬의 아들?
소로몬의 아들이 이어받았잖아. 그게 로보암이야.
Rehoboam
소로몬 아들.
was the son of King Solomon.
그게
He
남유다야.
ruled the south Israel, Judea,
여로보암은
South Judea.
소로몬 왕 때 굉장히 그 성전 지으라고 노력을 했어.
Jeroboam was not the son of King Solomon, but he was one of the foremost supporter to build the temple for King Solomon.
일을 많이 하니까.
He did a lot of work.
근데 거기에서 군대장관이 여로보암.
Oh, so he was the chief of the military.
His son. That's why complain much. Solomon died when Rehoboam, the young people generation, right?
Rehoboam was son of King Solomon.
그 여로보암 아들이 가서 아들 그 젊은 애들이 가갖고 야 네가 이제 됐으니까 너네 아빠 때는 노력을 많이 했으니까 이제는 조금 좀 쉬게 편안히 살자. 돈도 많잖아 이제 나라가 이제 부자니까.
So the son of Jeroboam, the military chief. So he went to Rehoboam, was saying, we did a lot of hard work, so let us have some time to rest.
그런데 로보암이 걔는 영 제너레이션이라 그 친구들하고 야 니네 아빠는 만약에 채찍을 10번 했으면 나는 100% 뭘로 있어 나 성경에 더 많이 일을 시킬 거야.
So in response of Rehoboam was, if you complain, I will double your work.
That's why 여로보암 그 신하들이 다 뭉쳐갖고 거기서 11지파.
So the
11지파가 가서 나라를 차린 게 있어야 돼.
So the people, the man of Jeroboam, which is the son of King Solomon, went to North Judea, which is North Israel, and they built the kingdom. 11 tribes.
And then one tribe, the Judah tribe died.
One Judea.
Judea means now just one Rehoboam이 그게 남유다예요.
So the Rehoboam, the chief of the military, went down south, and he built the kingdom of South Judea. So they were divided.
나라가 두 개가 된 거예요. 이스라엘이 두 개가 갈라졌어요. right? 11 지파에서 북이스라엘.
So 11 tribes went into North Judea, Jeroboam. And then the Rehoboam went down to South Judea.
Right. And then this is the same thing. 여기가 이스라엘 이제 망했어.
Assyria. So they were conquered by Assyria. The North Judea was conquered by Assyria. So there was no country.
그래서 여기가 무대가 두 개인데 여기가 남유다예요. 남유다 왕인데 여기에 누가 들어 에레미야.
So So in South Judea, there's a Jeremiah.
오케이. 그래서 다니엘이 또 포로로 잡혀갔어.
And Daniel was taken as a hostage to Babylon.
Right. And then 그래서 스테이지가 number 8, stage number 15. One Babylon, one Jerusalem. Okay? Alright. And then, okay.
So go back.
Yeah.
Please go back.
Again?
So the stage A, Jerusalem,
Alright.
that was the North Judea, who was taken by the Assyrians.
요때 활약한 사람이
Jeremiah, prophet
이사야.
Jeremiah.
오케이. 이사야는 맞지? 이사야는 다이했어.
He died there.
600 people died. Then the die. 그러나 그 사람 벌써 예언을 그걸 다 해줬어. 66 chapter 썼기 때문에 그래서 이사야에 있어야 king 그 예언서 king
Isaiah, the book of Isaiah is the king of the
그렇다고 해서
prophetic book. So there are 17 prophetic books in red color, right? So of those books,